Hello friends, today I am going to make class 1 cavity, occlusal cavity in an upper posterior tooth, and I am going to make it on upper left 4. Before making the cavity, it is very important that you read the consortium, that what are the ideal features of it, what are the desirable features. So for it should be an occlusal cavity that involves the mesial pit, occlusal fissure and the distal pit. Okay. You have to make it using a mirror to aid the vision. That is, it should be made in indirect vision. It should be smooth, delineated margins. It should follow the central fissure. That is this one. You can see it. From the mesial pit, this occlusal fissure and the distal pit. Its depth should be around 2 millimeters. That is, it can be about 1.9, 1.8 millimeters to 2.1, 2.2 millimeters. It is approximately 2 millimeters. It should be, the width should be such that is, it can clear all the caries part can be removed. Another thing is that it should be such that this condenser, the bigger end of the condenser, that is around 1 millimeter, it should snugly fit into the cavity. Because once you make the cavity, you have to fill it and you have to pack the amalgam to it. So it should be, the width should be such that this condenser, it can snugly fit into it. The walls should be parallel. How you can make parallel walls? That the angulation of the burr, it is very important. The angle of the burr, it should be parallel to the long axis of the tooth. Then you can get the parallel walls or slightly convergent walls. You can make slightly convergent walls but not the divergent ones, so you need to be very careful. And the cavity, it should not involve the marginal ridges. So these are the features that you have to keep it in mind. So I'm going to begin it. First of all, I will use 330 burr, tungsten carbide burr. It is about 2 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is that I will mark the mesial pit and the distal pit, so that it will give me an idea that my cavity is going to be here and it cannot extend beyond that. Okay, so I will make, with the help of 330 burr, I'm going to make the marks about 1 millimeter deep in these mesial pit. And the distal pit. Now I will use 170 L burr, and I will join these 2 points, but I have to keep it in mind that I have to follow the occlusal fissure. Now I have made the outline. Now I will check its width using I have to check condenser. I've just made the, like, should be, yes, it is snugly fitting into it. It is fit. Okay. So the width is fine. I have to go a little deep now. 170L, it is very good for making the walls. And to increase the depth, 330, I will use 330 because it is to increase the depth. Now I will make the floor smooth using slow strokes of 330 bar. In the end, I will check the width. Okay, yes, it is moving to it. I will check the depth. Yes, in the end, I will smooth it. I will smooth the floor. In the end, once I have made sure that the measurements are fine, that the cavity is extending from the mesial pit to the distal pit, it is not involving the marginal ridge, the depth is fine, the width is fine, then I will smooth it using slow speed handpiece, and I will use the Fisher burr. You can have a look at the cavity. Have a close look at the cavity, that it is extending from the mesial pit, moving all along the central fissure to the distal pit. It is not involving the marginal ridges. The walls are parallel, they are not divergent. The width it should be approximately 2 millimeters, can be 2.1 to 2, and here you can see that it is slightly less, so that is fine. It should be approximately 2 millimeters. The width, I told you that this end of the condenser, it should snugly fit. You can see that it is fitting, so that once we pack amalgam into it, it can be easily condensed, it can be easily packed. So the width is fine, it is extending from the mesial to the distal pit. The depth is fine. So these are the requirements of a class 1 cavity. I try to make it as simple as possible. I hope you will find it useful. Thank you very much.